In about 1997, my daughter Mary Rose was getting pretty sick. She had what we thought was maybe a flu bug, and typical flu symptoms. She had some stomach upset and headaches and kind of tired, sleeping a lot, and little by little there were just new symptoms. She couldn't walk properly. We had a little phone call from one of her teachers saying, I just really want to talk to you about Mary Rose's comprehension lately. When we teach her something, she doesn't remember it. We teach it to her 2 days later and she's forgotten it again. We spent the next several months from the fall of 1997 just, going doctor to doctor and having blood tests done and hospital visits and so forth. And it was finally the summer of 1998 when an infectious disease doctor said, I think I can tell you what's going on, but we're going to do a lot of blood work. Your daughter is experiencing some heart issues, so we're going to need to set up a heart monitor and going to have to determine what's really the issue here.
I can remember the day that I was diagnosed. I was laying on the bed in the doctor's office, and the doctor came in and he had a tape recorder in his pocket and he pulled it out, stuck it on the counter in his office, and he said, Mary Rose, you have Lyme disease, and we're going to do the best that we can. However, I will tell you that things will get worse before they get better. The fact that he was telling us that things were going to get worse before they got better made no sense to me because I wasn't able to walk. My heart was not functioning properly, nor was my liver. So in my mind at that age, my initial thought was, okay, the only thing that can get worse is to be not alive anymore.
I remember leaving the doctor's office and feeling like everything was just so surreal. Like, is this really happening? Is she ever going to walk again? Because by that time she was in a wheelchair. And in fact, the way the doctor responded with us, we really weren't even sure if she was going to live. So, there were just a lot of things to process.
For a child, when you're told that most likely you are not going to make it, that you're not going to live, is absolutely terrifying.
When you face something as traumatic as what happened with our family, your prayers change. They become kind of scattered. Sometimes you just don't feel like praying at all because you're rather absorbed in the circumstances and what's happening, and if you let that dictate things, which I think it's only natural that you do that from time to time, it then becomes hard to really believe that God is there, that He's even listening to prayers. At one point I remember saying, Lord, I'm tired of this. Either take her or heal her. I'm done. I'm just done with this. That was one of those very honest moments where God just spoke to my heart and He said, I love her more than you do, more than you can ever imagine. And while I've given her to you for a time, ultimately she's mine and I'll take good care of her, and you can trust me to do that. Now that we're about 15 years post Lyme diagnosis and everything is good in our lives, one of the ways that I was changed by this whole experience was I learned how to really just be real with God. That part of me that learned that I could depend on God, that sort of clicks in maybe a little more quickly, and I turned to Him more quickly and realized that I can just take a breath and say, okay, Lord, I don't get it, but I'm hanging on for the ride because I know that you know what you're doing, and I really don't have to know, so I'm just going to let you take care of all the details.
It's helped me to, when I'm facing things in my life now, whether they're big or whether they're small, to be able to kind of put it more in a perspective of, okay, remember God was with you during this situation, and God was with you during this situation. Why would God not be with me during this right now that I'm facing in my life? And so it's helped me to be able to have that perspective and that remembrance that God is still there.